Hey friends! Today I wanted to do a little studio vlog of my process for creating a Skillshare class. And I thought I'd show you some behind the scenes footage of my filming setup, how I go about planning my class, things like that, because I think that's always interesting to see the behind the scenes of the process of making a class. I'm really excited about this class because it's a little bit different from the other classes I've been creating that have been more creative, business-based, and I want to do way more creative classes. So this is like the first super creative class that I'm doing with paint, and it's been really fun. So I want to do 50 million more classes like this. So yeah, I thought I would just jump in. Today is the third day of filming. Today's Wednesday. I started filming on Monday. On Monday, I did overhead shots, like B-roll and things like that, of my supplies that I'm going to be using. I did lots of close-ups and things like that. And I did the basic flower shapes. I'll show that right now, I think. One of the things that I set up for this class was some, I don't know, not a worksheet, but like a way to show off some very simple flower forms. So that's something that we're going to do in the class. I haven't mentioned what the class is. It is anyone can start a sketchbook, start a happy floral sketchbook. I haven't nailed down the title yet, but something like that. So to talk about my process for starting a class, it starts usually with some notes, and I like to do that on paper. And I just wrote out like how I have my class idea. I have to have something that pops into my head, and then I figure out the structure of the class, like the intro and the outro, but then what's going to be in between. You have to have a part that talks about supplies. That's really fun. And since this is about sketchbook, I want to do a sketchbook tour. And then I structured all the different sections. So I figured out what the class is going to be about, and I just did that simply on a piece of paper. On the back, my son scribbled some things, which is so cute. He's learning to write and read. So that's where the class begins, just with some simple notes about the different sections that I want to do. Yeah, and then I email my contact at Skillshare because I'm a top teacher, so I get a little bit more guidance and help. We have I'm not sure what they would be called, like mentor, Skillshare mentor, something like that. So I sent over my ideas, and she helped me with some titles, which she gave me, but I can't remember, but I have them written down, so I'll use those that she mentioned, and she gives other tips and things that I can think about to make the class as good as it can be, which is so excellent. And every time I create a class, I feel like I'm getting better and better, so that is excellent. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share in this angle. Let me move. Oh my God, I can't speak. Let me turn the camera around so that I can share with you my setup and what I've been working on for the past few days, and what I'll be working on today too. Once I have my idea for my class, I will create a Google Doc where I will write out the class outline, I guess. And this I will use to create the class. Here I actually wrote out my intro because I'm going to try that for the first time, to use a script. I usually never do that because I've tried before and I thought that I sounded like a robot, and it doesn't work for me, and I want my classes to feel natural and like I'm talking to a friend, so I just talk with talking points. And then once I've done that, I went through and did all the different class sections that I want to create. And here with these ones, I just wrote out what I want to be talking about and some talking points so that I don't forget. I also write out what kind of shots I need. So this is talking heads. So that's me talking just towards the camera, one shot. And then I also want B-roll showing close-ups of all the products. So while I'm talking, I can clip in a product shot to show off a brush or something like that, you know? it makes it more interesting to have those extra shots, so it's not just a complete class with you looking at my face. And then, yeah, I just keep going through. Some of them are highlighted because I'm just using that to show that I've filmed that section. It's like a check mark. Sometimes I do that on my iPad. I write on the iPad my film list and I just check things off or highlight things like that. But this time I use this doc instead. So just make sure that I'm organized and I have my computer open over to the side where I can see it, so I can make sure that I'm talking about all the things that I wanted to talk about in the class. So this one is going to have, I've planned it to be 18 different sections. So there'd be 18 different films that I have to edit and put together, which is the fun bit. To organize my file, I bring them into a folder, and then I take audio separately. So I have an audio file and a film file that I have to synchronize later in Final Cut Pro that I use. So I just make sure to bring them in, and then I make sure to find the video that corresponds to the audio file, and I rename them so that they're the same name. So it makes it easier for me when I'm editing later. So this is 2 days worth of filming with the overhead shots. So let me show you my filming setup. Alright, so here is my very cramped small filming room studio where all of this goes down, and it's not super professional. I don't have any rigs, I don't have incredible lighting, but what I have works really great for me, especially because this is a small space. I think it works out really well for me. I would like to invest in a new tripod, since I think I want to create some more creative classes like this, and a lot of the time you do overhead shots, so I think I want another one with an arm, so I don't have to have this on the table. But having this on the table is actually working out fine. My table is quite sturdy, so it's not moving around and wiggling so much. A softbox that I use for lighting that bounces off the ceiling to make some better lighting overall in the room. But otherwise, my camera does most of the work because it's quite a nice camera. This is a Nikon, what are you? Nikon, hello? D5300. Yeah, and it captures good lighting. So the overhead shot is like this, and I've managed to set it up so the legs don't come in the shot. It's just this little portion on my desk, which is perfect. I use an external mic to capture audio because audio is so important in film these days. And I have it on this foam because I learned from some of the other Skillshare teachers, that was a tip, that if you're constantly putting pencils and things down on the table, the microphone captures that in a weird way, but having a little bit of foam actually helps a little bit to muffle that sound. So I've been trying that out. Also, and in the future, I most likely will purchase an arm to have it up in the air because that is even more convenient. And I like having this also up high because that's where my face is, so it's going to capture audio really well there too. I have it connected to my little computer here so that I can capture the audio and look at my file, my Google Sheet, to see all my talking points. So that has a double function so that I'm checking that I'm talking about everything, but it also is capturing my audio that I can synchronize later. I have this huge window, so I have awesome lighting from my window, which is great. And then this is the mayhem of supplies that I've been doing to create this class, which is so fun. So it's about creating a happy floral sketchbook, like the one that I've been working on for the past few months. And I wanted to share my process of creating spreads and painting with gouache and creating little, fun, happy florals. This one's really pretty. So yeah. Hopefully the class will be out by the time that I edit this too, so you'll be able to go and check that class out. else can I show you? So that's just the overhead shots, really. And it looks something like this. But with better lighting, because my camera has much better lighting than my phone. The first day I talked a lot about using your paint and getting to know your paint. And I've been using this new Himi jelly gouache that's super trendy but super fun, and I really like it. I've also been showing how to use watercolor, and I have my palettes over here, all my candy colors that I love to use. It's so much fun to film and talk about supplies. Like, I could do that all day. So, and I'm sure you like to watch that kind of stuff too, because I know that all illustrators and artists like to do that. Here's the swatches of the Himi gouache. It has so many bright, beautiful colors. So today I'm going to be sharing the process of adding colored pencil to the flower blobs, which will be fun. So I get to draw all day. Yesterday I got to paint all day, and today I get to draw with colored pencils all day, and this is my job. I feel very lucky, and I love making these classes. Skillshare is great. If you haven't checked it out yet, I highly recommend it, not just because I create classes there, but because I'm also a student and I'm constantly taking classes. I learn so much, and it's so affordable. It's just the best. I love it. Alright, so it's Thursday, and I've just got done filming all of the talking head parts, which is me talking to the camera. So I got a little extra dolled up with fancier hair and a little slightly nicer makeup and fancy scarf and things like that, so I look nice, and I talk to the camera. So now my voice is kind of tired from talking so much, because usually I'm silent all day. But yeah, so I did all that, and now I'm going to double check that everything turned out nice, that my videos look good, that they were in focus. I did focus them and check, but like sometimes there's always that fear that they're not in focus anyhow. So let's take a look. And then all of my filming is done now. I usually do actually the talking head first, but because I was sick last week, I was still my throat was kind of not with it at the beginning of the week, so I did easier portions of the class at that time, and then now I did the talking head now on Thursday when I feel much better. And yeah, let's take a look at my film. Alright, so here's what my files are looking like now. I've organized all my different sections of my video into folders, and now I'm going to put them in order of how they are in the class, so I can keep track of things. So the intro is obviously first, and then I talk about supplies, so that's next, and so on and so forth. And I'm going to do a sketchbook tour, and then I'm talking about color. There we go. And then so on and so forth. So then I will start editing those one at a time. The intro, of course, takes the longest because I have a lot of B-roll that I'm trying to add in. I have me talking, and then I have my audio file, and then I have lots of extras that I try to put in so it looks really interesting. So you want to take the class with different shots of me doing the different portions of the class. So that takes the longest. So that's kind of like I do that while I'm working on all the other ones. But usually the other sections are pretty easy to edit because I've usually filmed them from one direction, like all these overhead shots for the different instructional videos, like how to paint blob flowers. So that's all just one shot that I just have to edit out all the ums and every time I cough or my table creaks weird. And usually I don't take multiple takes of that, just in one shot, and that's it. That's what I'm going to do. And that's all I'm going to do for today. And tomorrow, I guess I'll start editing a little bit so I can get going with that. It is Friday tomorrow. It's Fun Friday, but I think I'll at least work a little bit on my video because I want to see, and I'm excited. Also, I've been picking music. That can be interesting. Where did that go? As a perk for us top teachers, we have access to Music Bed, which is really neat. So I've been picking music there, and I think I can give you a 2-second preview of this one that I thought I would choose. Summer Route by LWFI. That's enough. That's a little preview of the intro song that I thought that I would choose for this course. But music is always fun to choose something that will match the type of class. I wanted something kind of peppy and cute for this class. Hi friends! So now we are in the last days of editing. I haven't been filming because when I get into something, I don't want to stop and film other stuff. So I've just been editing for a few days. I think I've been spending 3 days editing. Not complete full work days, but pretty much. It takes a long time to go through the footage, to take out all the times that I'm stuttering on my words and saying stupid stuff or saying or sometimes mainly. There's so many times that I have to edit out large pieces of empty space because I'm just thinking about something in between my sentences. So yeah, it's always fun to listen to yourself for hours on end. But I thought that I would share a little bit of my editing process, just go through some of that in Final Cut Pro in case you think that that's interesting. I'm not going to show you how to edit because that's a completely other tutorial, and I don't really feel qualified to do that because I'm not an expert in Final Cut Pro. I feel like I'm just starting to figure it out, but I do know the basics and I'm working on it. So yeah, let's jump into looking at what this all looks like. Exciting stuff. Alright, you can see me here in the reflection of my computer. I have the iMac 27-inch and it's super old, and if you can hear possibly, it is getting really sad with my fan is going because it's working really hard right now on this rendering films and everything's saving at the moment, so pardon my computer. Here we are in Final Cut Pro, and this is my intro, and as you can see, I have done so many little cuts with B-roll. I have some of my original file where I'm talking, my talking head file, and music on the bottom. On top of my let's get a better face. Oh, that one's excellent. Here we go. On top, what's happening? On top of my films, I have a little custom LUT, it's called. It's just to enhance the color. So here's what it looks like with it, and I can take it away. And it's very subtle, but it makes me look a little bit more tan. It gives the colors in my room a little bit more vibrance. So that's something I do with the sound. There's a couple things that I do with sound to each thing. I remove noise, which helps so much. It helps with when you're touching things on your desk. It helps, there's ventilation, a small, just sounds that you have in your home. It will remove that really well, and the dialogue will be really clear. I've been testing out limiters and channel EQ equalizers. That's just advanced stuff, I guess. I'm trying to learn more about sound. Yeah, I'm not a pro at that, but I thought I can give you a little glimpse of the intro because I'm quite happy with how it turned out. Let's see.
Anyone can start a sketchbook. You don't have to be an artist to start a daily art practice. Sketchbooking can be a really lovely pastime, a quiet mindfulness practice, and a much better alternative than infinite scrolling on your devices. You can also bring your sketchbook anywhere. So much fun to take your supplies outside, but maybe not during an intensely cold Swedish winter. I'm going to have to wait until summertime, and until then, enjoy spring flowers from my sketchbook for now. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another class from me, Kristina.
That's enough, I guess, to give you a little peek of my intro. I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out. It's pretty fun and cute, I guess. I'm trying to, be a little bit more storytelling and things like that. Oh, yeah, that's done. One of my files is done. Skillshare has a limit of 2 gigabytes per video, and that can be difficult sometimes when the videos get a little bit long or you have a lot of shots like this and there's a lot of everything, like just everything. So I use the application Handbrake to compress the videos, and that was recommended by other top teachers on Skillshare, and it's just easily you can put in the settings that you want and it makes your video much smaller without reducing quality. I have no idea how that works, but I just know it works. So handbrake, it's called. What else can I show you? Just how much files and things go into a class like this. These are all my final class videos. There's 17 sections to this class. And then here are all the original files that I was using. So that, as you can see, there's so many files and photos and audio files. Look at this. It's crazy. So there's a lot of work behind a class like this. I haven't calculated how long it is yet, but it should be a couple hours, I assume. It's really exciting to work on a project like this. Just to go over a little bit closer up. Here is my original file, and I was reading on these sections because I knew that I wasn't going to be showing my face in those sections. So you can see here that I was just looking down at the camera. I can close this. You can see that I'm just reading my script, and that way I keep the same sound by talking in these sections as I am to the camera in the sections where I'm talking to the camera, and then I'm just talking naturally. I'm not using a script. I just write talking points to myself and I talk about that so that it feels more natural. I really like that because otherwise I don't want to sound like a zombie. So let me bring that back. What else can I talk to you about? I don't know. Everything is exporting now, and I export it into a file. Let's see. On my computer, in teaching section, in my Skillshare section, in my class section. Happy florals, and here's all the final videos. And here they're all uploading. And now I'm uploading to Skillshare as well. It takes a little while for everything to upload, and I've created a class cover for the class. It's purple and beautiful. Hopefully you can see that. So those are all going to be uploading, and then I need to change all the titles so they make sense for the class, make sure it's in the perfect order, and then I need to write in all the descriptions and things and think about how to make it sound interesting and use SEO. It's a lot to think about. It's a big project, but I'd say it took me 4 days to film because there was a lot of painting and it takes a lot of time in between the painting to dry. Sorry, I have my window open to help my computer not be so warm. So that was a car driving past. Anyhow, what was I saying? Yeah, 4 days of filming and 3 days, I'd say, of full editing. So it takes about a week for me to create a large class like this. I think this is the longest I've ever filmed. Otherwise, I've always only filmed in 1 day. And then it takes a couple of days to film, like 2, usually, for my other classes. Unless it's a huge class, like one of my last ones might take a little bit longer. So yeah, I really love making these classes for you. I really enjoyed creating this super creative class. Or maybe I can... Anyhow, I hope that you enjoyed seeing a little glimpse into the behind the scenes of me creating a Skillshare class. I, of course, can do something a little bit more in depth about editing or how I go about planning class in more in depth, because this was just a run through just to give you an idea of what I do. And I know that I didn't go into details and things like that, but I still hope that it was interesting to see all the work that I do behind the scenes to create these classes, because they're not like, I don't just pump them out. Like, they have a lot of planning behind them and a lot of, I guess, passion behind them. I really enjoy creating them for you, and I really hope that you enjoy seeing them. And if you are new to Skillshare and you have no idea what I'm talking about, it is an incredible platform to learn new skills really easily and simply. It's a what's it called? It's a monthly subscription service, so it costs like $10 a month. It depends on where you live in the world. Of course, the pricing differs, but it's very affordable, and I think it's worth it. I have been on Skillshare as a student for I think 5 years, which is nuts. And every time I take a class, I always learn something, because you learn from real artists, real people who have been working in different industries, whether as artists or illustrators or animators or all kinds of things. And I always learn like these little tidbits. And because everybody's process is different and there's no like one set way to create art, so when you learn from different people, you can take all these little tips and tricks from all different directions, and I think you can become more well-rounded. And that's why I really like Skillshare. I love being a teacher on Skillshare because it has allowed me to create these videos for you and make a steadier monthly income. I haven't had in a long time as something that brings in money every single month. I've been, as a freelancer, you're always chasing the next job or client project or your shop sales and things like that. So I'm really happy that I have Skillshare and that it's going so well, so that I feel less stressed about trying to get those client projects, and I can work more on the things that make me happy and I want to work on, which is so incredible, and I'm so lucky and fortunate and grateful. So yeah, in the description below, I will make sure to leave a link to this class, because it will be up by the time this vlog gets up. I will also leave a link for those of you who are new to Skillshare and you'd like to test it out. You can get a free trial from me. It's an affiliate link, so I get a pinch of money for that, which is always nice too if you want to support me in that way. And then I also have, at the time of filming this, 19 classes on Skillshare for you to check out. So yeah, check them out. I am in the process of also updating a few of them. After this class is now it's done, I'm going to go back and update some of my older classes, because the quality just isn't as good as these last classes, because I've learned a lot, and I just want to make sure that all of my classes are really professional and good. I'm especially like so embarrassed by the audio on some of my first classes. It's just not good. But anyhow, thanks again for watching. Thanks so much for supporting me as a teacher on Skillshare. I appreciate all the minutes that you watch of my classes, and also just like all the great feedback that I hear from you, that I'm a great teacher and that you enjoy learning with me. It's the best. Thank you so much. See you later. Bye.